Rob, Lee, it is Tuesday. Tuesday.
Pancake Day.
It's Pancake Day. It is Pancake Day.
More importantly,
Lee kindly brought us in some crepes for lunch. So we've got some nice desserts. And we've got Luna today, as you can see, which is going to be non-stop bugging us all. Yes, I said your name.
Oh, bless her. But yeah, we've just done sprint planning, as we usually do. Lee, what are you doing?
Yeah, so a bit of everything for me this week. Bit of the Colour Pixels Collection 3 work, so we localised all the assets as well as actually localising the level names and book names in game as well. That's all for the Switch. So I'm sure I'll have some fun updating the Nintendo stuff as well, because that needs updating to catch up with the Unity versions and whatnot. As well as that, there's a bit on the transport book. So Icy and the rest of the gang are making the rest of the levels. They need QA testing. The store page actually is announcing as well, because it hasn't been announced yet, so they're getting those out. Yeah. And then for Colour Pixels as well, you're now done with the Japanese book on Jack. So I mean,
Yes.
the store page should be approved over the weekend from Steam, so we'll be getting that out as well. And yeah, a bit of tax stuff just to make it even more fun. But yeah, just a bit of everything, loads of little tasks. Should keep busy all week.
Yeah, and for me, I'll be looking after Luna for a couple of days this week because Kim's away. But yeah, on that Wii I'm just going to basically try and get as much bug fixing and features in as possible. We're hoping to do an update at the end of the week to go with the transport DLC that Icy will be working on a lot of this week. So yeah, lots of features and stuff for that.
Yeah, and for me, as Lee said, I'm just continuing the Japan DLC. We're almost there. It's taking me a little slow this one because it's quite some tough images in this one, but we're getting there, so I'm almost done. Should be done this week, as well as doing some little bit of babysitting for Luna.
Oh, now we're calm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
well, that's a good time to stop. Hey everyone, I just thought I'd give you a quick rundown what I've been up to, as I actually did a little bit of work over the weekend as I wanted to get some images finished before I came in today. So this image here is a little Japanese storefront. It took quite a while. It wasn't too hard to do, it was just that there's so much in this image that I wanted to include, so it took a while. It essentially went from going to this section here, and then I added more on the top, I added a tree, and I added a patio on front. So it took quite a while. Right now I'm experimenting with colour, as I do like the colours, but I don't think they look very uniformed. I kind of want to make it look like there's a sunset over. So I'm messing with some overlays right now. You might not be able to see the difference, it's very subtle. It just adds a bit of an orange tinge to everything and makes it look like essentially it's going to be dusk. So I kind of want to try and make the colours a bit more blended together. But for the rest of this afternoon, I really want to finish off the dragon image. This dragon image has been it's been taking me a little while, but it's getting there almost. It's almost done. But yeah, I've added some more fur here, you can see, and I added a bit more to his head too, just to make it a bit more attached. His head looked a bit plain without it. As you can, there you go. Actually, there's the layer. You can see it looks a bit plain without, and it just makes it a bit more. It attaches the head a bit more, I think.
Okay, so it's been a bit of a strange day for me this morning. Basically, I've just been trying to get this PC working again. I did get it working on Friday, but we're just having trouble getting with it this morning. So what I've done is we've got my old PC. I got a new one last year, so I brought that in. We're basically just going to use that for the TV PC now. I'm just like getting everything ready to completely wipe it. But that should be fine. I had to pull out the Wi-Fi card from this one and plug it into that one. That was fine, that's all good. And yeah, it's just a matter of getting it all sorted, because fingers crossed we'll have this microphone working so that Icy can actually join us for meetings properly, which should be really good. But yeah, speaking of Icy, he won the Rainbow Six Siege tournament for the Toasty Labs thing, so he gets an extra day off, and we're going to be sending him this little trophy, which should be cool. I think Jack said that he's going to plan on getting a custom sticker made or something that says like Icy winner of Siege 2023 or something like that. So yeah, that should be fun, and we'll get that posted to him as soon as possible.
Okay, so I've kind of been jumping around all over the place today and what I've been working on. But one of the highlights is that I managed to get the dragon completely finished. It definitely took a lot longer than I wanted it to. As you can see, the body kind of contorts around itself, so it was really hard figuring out where to get these arms in position. I went through a lot of trial and error, but we eventually got there. But then I thought it looked a bit boring, so I added the rising sun in the background just to make a bit more of a dominant colour to go against the green, and it definitely worked out really well. I'm quite happy with it. I also made some tweaks down here too, just adding some more fur in little places to the arms to make them stand out a bit more, as I thought the scaling blended a bit too much with the arms and the body, but we managed to get there in the end.
Yeah, so for me today, I've been working on Wooloop trying to get some bug fixes in. One of the ones that we had to deal with was the fonts aren't supported for Russian alphabets, which is quite strange because it's like our fonts support Chinese characters and stuff like that and Japanese characters, which I would have thought it's a bit more complicated. So now I've made it so that when you do select Russian as the alphabet, basically you get defaulted to whatever the standard font option is and it gets grayed out for you. Which is a bit of a shame that it doesn't work, but we can't really fix it. It would take too long, so I think this is the best solution for that. Other than that, we've been working on some improvements for the level editor as well. Let's see if I should quickly show you that. So there's a couple of extra items here, so you can see how big a level is by the number of steps and things like that. You can see the number of pins and number of routes you had, but not the actual individual like step total, which is quite handy for people. And also some more improvements as well, like in terms of performance, because there's been a memory leak, which I've been just trying to diagnose. I think it's fixed, but we'll see. Basically, just people's editors were crashing when they've been editing levels for a long time. So yeah, I think I managed to fix it. It's all to do with these boxes on the right here, these coloured boxes that show you the rope width and colour. But yeah, fingers crossed that's fixed as well, but that took a long time to find.
Okay, so it's been quite a productive day for me today. I managed to get about 3 and a bit images done. I'm still working though, so I'm hoping to get a 4th finished before I head home. But definitely the highlight for me today has definitely been this hot springs image that I've been working on, doing some monkeys chilling out in the hot spring whilst it's some cold weather. And it didn't take too long, but there was definitely some things that I tweaked around and made a bit more creative. So as you can see, I've actually got 2 monkeys in the hot spring here. One's just chilling out in the back, vibing out, having a little bit of a sleep, and one of them's just playing in the water there. I was contemplating adding some rocks down here, but I thought it may distract a bit from the monkey in the front, as it may have gave a bit more of a 3D effect, but I don't think it's worth losing out on the clarity of the image. But yeah, that one was pretty fun to do, and I've also been working on working on a few things, but the samurai still needs fixing up. I asked the Discord to do what they thought, and they all thought that the posing looked a bit funny. So the original idea for this image was that it's actually a side shot. So this is his arm right here. I'll just quickly annotate on so you can see it a bit more clearly. Yeah, this is his arm, but Yoroi armor has really big shoulder pads, so it's really hard to tell that it's actually his arm, and it kind of looks like it's his back. So although it is supposed to be a side profile, this kind of looks like his back, and he's looking over his shoulder, and that isn't the intention. So I'm trying to make it a bit more clearer, and what I've done so far is that I've moved this shoulder pad up just a little bit, just so we can see a bit more of the elbow down here, but it still isn't quite how I want it to be. So Lee had the suggestion of making the shoulder pad just even a bit smaller and maybe putting it at a slight angle like this, so then his arm would be a bit more appeared here. So that's the plan, but that's going to take a little while because I'm pretty much going to have to redraw the shoulder. So I'm just going to leave that until a little bit later throughout the project, as I would like to get some more images done first.
Okay, so I've still got all of the streaming assets from last time I was working at home. But yeah, I'm working at home today because we've got Luna. I'm looking after Luna, and she gets a bit stressed in the office sometimes, so I'm just doing a bit of coding at home. But yeah, one of the things I've been adding today is a sort of like an improvement that Icy requested. So now when you go on Manage Pins, you get this little extra pop-up here. It's basically just like grid snapping. So when you enable it and you move pins around, I'll up these numbers so to make it more obvious for you. You can see it's like snapping to an invisible grid that's going on, and there's just a couple of extra controls that we've been sort of like trying to iterate on. So if you like hold down shift every time. Okay, cool, I fixed it. It was just a problem with the input settings. I think I might have accidentally not committed a thing or reverted some of my settings, but anyway, it's fixed now. But yeah, the thing I was trying to show is if you hold down shift, then it sort of only works for the x-axis, so you can smoothly slide it up and down, but it snaps in the x-axis, and control is the opposite with the y-axis. So just a few little extra bit of controls that Icy's been requesting, so fingers crossed we'll be able to make some very satisfying levels much quicker now.
Hey everyone, sorry if the sound quality is a little different. I'm actually working from home today, but I wanted to give you a quick look at what I've been working on because I'm actually quite happy with this image. So this is a cherry blossom tree, but it's a little more fantasy, this image. I've been kind of sticking strictly to reference, and I kind of wanted to make one that's just a bit more creative and kind of put my own little mark on the pack. And I'm quite happy with it so far, especially the sky. I'm not entirely sure how I've done it, to be completely honest with you. I was messing around with some colours, as I didn't like the sky, how it looked. So this image is essentially about the Tanabata Festival in Japan, or the Star Festival I think it's called, where essentially everyone hangs a wish on a tree and then it gets sent down a river or lake or maybe the ocean, and sometimes even burnt to symbolise like an offering as a wish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to essentially blend this image down so it's all flat, and then I'm going to reflect it onto this water down here. So it's got a bit of a reflection, and then I'm going to draw some wishes in the water and have them burning a little bit, just to give it a little bit more of a symbolic meaning, and hopefully people who know what the Tabata Festival is will understand what this image represents.
So yeah, it's the end of Wednesday. I haven't been show much what I've been doing today because of the fact that it's been a lot of tax stuff. So obviously that's not something we can show off because it's just financials that we're sending off to HMRC. But I've just finished up the day here with the Switch icons. So all the different sort of resolutions and whatnot that we're going to need for the Collection 3 store pages, and as well some of the stuff in game as well, I believe. And yeah, as you can see, the numbers being updated and the colour as well. So if you head over to English, that's the example. We're doing what we did with the original DLC, where the colour of the number correlates with whatever is the third letter, because number 2 used the O, and then yeah, going forward we're using the colours of the next lettering as well. But yeah, that's all done. We will need to check the actual file names, because with Nintendo they're very strict. So for example, I know the JPEGs won't work, it'll need to be JPEG, not JPG, which is minor, but the website's so finicky that it does require it to be exactly the same. So there is a little bit of work done, but the bulk of it is done in terms of getting all of the actual the assets ready to go.
Okay, so I've been working on more bug fixes and basically just implementing new features into Wooloo. So a couple of new things. One of them that I've spent a fair bit of time on today is, where is it? Is this bottom section, the palettes that we've got for selecting which colour you want. So there's a couple of improvements to that. So now you can do Q&E and you can cycle between the ones, which one you've got selected, which is kind of cool. We've also been working on this instruction thing here. So when you go to the edge of the screen, it sort of like stays on the edge of the screen there, so you can see roughly which direction you're going. But when the palette was up, it used to get stuck behind it, but now you can see that it actually gets like blocked by the palette now, which is great, so you're not gonna miss it. Yeah, another thing for that, we've got, which level this one? This is actually centered now when there isn't enough routes to add the scroll bar, which is one of the things that we had originally for the Next Fest demo, but I had to remove it for performance reasons. But yeah, now I've spent the time to re-add that, which is just great. A couple of new settings as well. So we've got a setting for disabling the time lapse, because we've had a lot of speedrunners actually trying the game, and the time lapse is a bit of a lengthy process once you complete a level, so that's just to speed up the process. And then we've got a show your personal best button as well, which when you've got that enabled, you'll see that some of your levels will have the best time that you've ever scored in that level. Sadly, just the way that the data is actually stored for that, it won't actually be on every level. You might have to like load it up. So for like this balloons level, for example, there was nothing there. Then if I load the level up and then go back, it'll appear. So it's just because we need to load the actual level data, level save data, and it's not stored in the main menu stuff. So bit annoying really, because I thought I did sort that, but yeah, it shouldn't be an issue for people, and at least it's not like showing an error or anything, it just hides it. And then just to show you the disabling the time-lapse setting. Oh, another thing that we've done as well is there was a bug where if you are on the last pin, like I am here, and then you go back, some people were trying to complete it that way, but and that would work. But now, if you're touching this pin and then you touch another pin, it gets incorrect
flagged properly, which is a bit of an issue because a lot of people were messing up their screenshots that were taken at the end of the level, and yeah, here we go. So you see that the time lapse doesn't actually trigger, and then the end of level animation is just tons faster now, so fingers crossed people like that.
Rightio, so I've been kind of all over the place today in terms of what I've been doing. So to start off the morning, I was continuing the Japan DLC, and I was doing the sumo wrestler image, and I found this really cool artistic piece, like it's very Japanese style, and I thought it was a really cool idea. It's almost like a framed picture. So I used that as a basis. I thought it was a really cool idea. Like I said, I'm trying to keep a lot of the artwork in this DLC quite traditional and quite respectful to Japanese culture. So I'm trying to convert this into pixel art right now. I'm not sure if I'm going to draw him exactly. I think I'm just going to do a sort of my own pixel art sprite of a sumo wrestler. I think it'll really fit the theme here. And I definitely need to work on the background. There's a lot of empty space. I'm not really sure what I'm going to add. Like I said, on the reference image, there's kind of a lot of writing. I'm not really sure I want to do that because it's quite hard to convert, especially Japanese lettering, into pixel art. As you can see here, I've done my best, but I may have to change that. I didn't get a chance to do much else of this, as I've pretty much primarily been working on Wooloop. So I was working this morning on doing one more image for the Transport DLC, and I thought I would do the Da Vinci sketch of his like flying vehicle, and it came out really nicely. It hasn't been tested yet, but in this like preview render in Unity, it looks pretty good. But the bulk of my day has been doing a lot of QA testing for Icy's levels. He's done a lot of big levels, so it took me quite a while to get through them, and there was only a few little tweaks. He's done a great job on all these levels. I had trouble communicating some fix on the helicopter. It was quite a fun time, but yeah, everything looks great now, and he's done a stellar job.
So yeah, it's 3:30 on Friday, and yeah, we're getting towards the end of the Transport DLC. So you can see here I've been playing some of the levels. I've actually playing them on stream. This will be a bit jank, but you see you've got the stream chat there on the right there. Yeah, it's went pretty well. Quite a few people jumped in to watch, and now it's just a case of going through the changes on the Trello board here, where we have some levels pushed back to make some changes. So we're going through fixing those, and then one last check before everything's ready.
It's been quite a busy day today. I've done a lot of QA stuff for the Transport DLC for Wooloop. As you can see, some aren't done because I've had to do multiple passes on testing them, because Icy's been making fixes real time. So that's pretty much been the bulk of my days. Not much to show there, but there was a little gap where I was able to do some Coloring Pixels artwork, and I managed to get a bit more of the sumo character done, and he's looking really good. He's almost done. He needs a bit of a smile or some sort of mouth positioning, because he's kind of just looking a bit creepy right now. But there is a bit more shading I want to do. I want to kind of define his muscles a bit more, make him look a bit more stronger, just to look a bit more menacing. So I might add some things here. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do. I may put some more definition in the shoulder as well. But I think I'm going to add some things to the background too, maybe some more symbols around, just so it's not as boring, as I think there's a bit too much empty space. But I'm not entirely sure what to put, as the reference for this was a painting, and the painting also has quite a lot of blank space, and I don't want that for the pixel art image. So I'm thinking of having some petals or something, just something a bit more symbolic. So it's getting there, but I'm going to add a few more bits and bobs just to make it a bit more interesting.
Guys, it's the weekend!
Yeah, it's been it's been a pretty busy week. We're working hard on Wooloop, which is coming out tonight. Probably got your alarm set still. We've got the Transport DLC releasing at 8 o'clock. Still a bit of QA for us to do to wrap that up, but yeah, check that out if you haven't already. Came out last week for you guys watching the video, so pick it up and let us know what you think.
I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, but this time next week, Japan should be announced on the store page, so you can go check out, maybe have a little sneak peek at a few of the images. Quite a good pack, this one, a bit different from the rest of the ones I've done so far, so hopefully you will enjoy it.
Cool.
And that's Japan for Coloring Pixels, in case you didn't register that.
Oh yeah.
yeah, just Japan. just go to Japan.
As always, thanks to everyone in the Discord for interacting, sharing pictures of cats and memes and all that good stuff. Thank you very much for all the interaction there. And as always, thanks very much to our Patreons who help us out and jump in the Twitch chat more often than not as well. So thank you very much.
Yeah, cool. That was a mess, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a mess.